Hello everyone, my name is Maria, and in this video I will review all of Karen McManus's books and answer the question, what was the factor that propelled Karen McManus into stardom as a fairly new author? First, we will go over both of the novels of the series One of Us is Lying. The novels in question are One of Us is Lying and One of Us is Next. Then I will talk about her novel Two Can Keep a Secret. For your information, all three of these novels were very well received by the public and critics. McManus's debut novel, One of Us is Lying, was actually on the New York Times best-selling list for more than a year. Some devoted fans may even say that Karen McManus is the best modern young adult fiction author. But is that really so? Let's explore the question more in depth. Let me quickly remind you to subscribe to my YouTube channel and like or even dislike this video if you actually don't enjoy it. It helps, and a lot of effort goes into making these videos. Thank you. Karen McManus, the author of One of Us is Lying, describes her first novel with a simple yet memorable tagline: The Breakfast Club meets Pretty Little Liars, which I have to agree is pretty descriptive. The idea of 5 teenagers getting detention and all 5 of them being walking stereotypes has been explored. But McManus saw an opportunity there. She decided to add a mystery thriller detective aspect to her debut novel. Here's a brief introduction to each of the characters. So, Nate Macaulay, the problematic teen with legal history who doesn't care about anything. In my opinion, his character was very well developed. He's a human with flaws, unique character traits, and his own story that readers can sympathize with. It can be difficult to write such characters and make them 3D, yet McManus does a commendable job. Moving on, Bronwyn Rojas, a girl who wants to go to the top university and does everything in her power to achieve her goals. Bronwyn was one of my favorite characters because it's easy to relate to her even if you're not really like her. The third teenager was Adelaide Prentice, the girlfriend of a jock, just a normal girl who's the type to become the homecoming queen, but with no, absolutely unique character-defining specialties. I liked her character development arc, and although she wasn't really like a bad, immature, or boring person in the beginning, it was interesting to see her grow. Then, Cooper Clay, a jock who plays baseball, and who, by the way, is not Addie's boyfriend. I can't say that much about him because anything I say would be a spoiler, but nonetheless, he's a pretty nice guy. And finally, we have Simon Kelleher, the outcast, a teen guy who had a severe peanut allergy, and more importantly, the person who started a gossip app called About That. On About That, he would reveal all of his classmates' deepest, darkest secrets that were usually true. Of course, given the nature of the app, he had a lot of enemies. So on the day of the detention, while being stuck in the classroom with the 4 characters I have mentioned earlier, Simon Kelleher loses his water bottle and ingests an ungodly amount of peanut oil from the water in the glass he drank from. Simon later dies from a severe allergic reaction. Of course, the suspicion that one of them killed Simon falls on all the kids in the room: Nate, Bronwyn, Addie, and Cooper. And after a further police investigation, it is discovered that all 4 of them had a motive. Simon was going to reveal these secrets the next day after detention. So, which one of them was it? Or was it even one of them? Mind you, the guy had a lot of enemies. The more I read, the more I got intrigued by the novel's plot. McManus has a pretty distinct storytelling style, and she writes from different characters' points of view. And you will actually see that in all of her books I will be reviewing today, each important character gets their own POV chapters. This could be one of the factors that made McManus's novels so captivating to readers. You can see the events occurring in the book from the characters' points of view and go through their thought process, giving you even more room for thought and hypothesis building. But beware, even I, with my totally very professional detective skills, couldn't solve the mystery until the very end, and I had a lot of hypotheses. So if you enjoy detectives and mysteries of all sorts and you're a young adult, then this book is for you. Moving on to the next book, the sequel to One of Us is Lying is One of Us is Next. I finished reading the novel a few days ago, and it was also kind of a roller coaster. And it was also kind of a roller coaster, although to a lesser degree than One of Us is Lying. The events occur 18 months after Simon Kelleher's death in the same school, Bayview High. The main characters are Bronwyn's sister, Maeve Rojas, who helped solve Simon Kelleher's case, Knox Myers, who's Maeve's ex-boyfriend and a cool guy all around, and Phoebe Lawton, who I found to be kind of similar to Addie Prentice in the last book. Anyhow, Bayview High School, being a gossipy little school it is back at it again. This time with a game of truth or dare. With a twist. A person texts you from a supposedly burner phone, whether you want to have a truth about you revealed or do a dare. No one knows who's actually behind the game and running it, what their motives are for exposing certain people, and how this will all end. And oh dear, it does not end well. But I won't spoil anything. Guess you'll have to find it out all by yourself. Overall, the One of Us is Lying series by Karen McManus was pretty amazing. I found that the plot twists, unique three-dimensional characters that I have grown to know and like, and the seemingly regular setting in which anyone could end up in real life made the novels very interesting to me. Frankly, I couldn't put them down. However, it is also important to understand that these words are not coming from a very objective source. I am the target audience of McManus' series, so if you're from my demographic, you're most likely to enjoy the books as much as I did. Anyways, moving on from the series to an individual novel, Two Can Keep a Secret. In it, the main character, a 17-year-old girl called Ellery, arrives in a small American town, Echo Ridge. Although she's never been there, Ellery has heard all about it and was very intrigued by it, in part because her aunt went missing without trace there at Ellery's age. Additionally, 5 years before Ellery's arrival, another 17-year-old girl, the homecoming queen of Echo Ridge High School, was murdered. And now that Ellery is in town, someone has declared that they will make homecoming get the same ending as 5 years ago. You can see where I'm going with this, I suppose. As the novel goes on, Ellery realizes that everyone in their town has their own unpleasant skeletons in the closet, and the two can't keep a secret if one of the two is dead. The plot twists, the characters, the mystery, everything in the book was well balanced and easy to follow along. The last line of the book was just, whoa. I don't think this book really needs a sequel because it just finished right at the right time with a plot twist, but without, a cliffhanger. I found the writing style and the setting to be kind of familiar because it's similar to Karen McManus' series One of Us is Lying. Admittedly, although I couldn't put the novel down either because apparently I am a sucker for YA mystery thriller fiction, I like the One of Us is Lying series more than Two Can Keep a Secret because it has stronger characters and writing, in my opinion. Well, if you read the novels before, comment your opinions on them down below. Even if you didn't like them, I'd still like to see your point of view and hear your opinions. Again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out my Fiverr spokesperson gig. This was Reader Maria, and I'll see you next time. Bye!